Hey guys, welcome to today's video. We're going to be breaking down the Bills versus Dolphins game. Before we get started, though, please drop a quick like and a sub on today's video. That would really help my channel grow. I'd really appreciate that. With that said, let's dive right into the video, and I hope you enjoy. Really tough loss for this Dolphins team here. I mean, really crushing loss. I mean, after Tua got injured, I mean, from the start, it was really the Dolphins were out of it. I mean, there's not a lot of highlights from this game to take away. The only highlights I would say are the defense. But let's start on the offensive side of the football. Obviously, we saw Tua on basically 2 possessions, not even, and the offensive line was really the big issue. Pressure was coming from everywhere, and that was pretty much the entire game. I mean, the Dolphins' offensive line could not stop the pass rush. Guys like Gregory Rousseau, guys like Matt Milano, guys like Tremaine Edmunds, they were constantly in the Dolphins' backfield making plays, and this offensive line really struggled. Austin Jackson had a tough game. I thought that Robert Hunt had a tough game. Solomon Kinley looked out of it. It was just a really rough game for that Dolphins offensive line. Really weren't able to do anything. And more offensively, too. I mean, Jacoby Brissett, I thought at times looked fine, but, he had an interception early in the game. And the Tua Tagovailoa injury really, I think, it really set the Dolphins back from the start. But they were really behind the gun to begin with anyway. If we look at more of their offensive issues, I mean, you can see that after Devante Parker, there wasn't really anybody on the offensive side of the football that was really making plays. Jaylen Waddle occasionally made a few plays, but he had a big drop at one point on a punt that ended up, giving the Bills some good field position. So he made his fair share of mistakes too. It just was a sloppy game. Devante Parker missed a touchdown catch. Jakeem Grant had a drop that ended up causing a fumble. I mean, it was sloppy. It was really sloppy, and Mike Gesicki didn't look that involved either. The only plus side I think from all this is Myles Gaskin. I mean, Myles Gaskin is continuing to be a really solid running back there for the Dolphins, both as a pass catcher and as a runner. I thought he did a lot in today's game, catching the football, giving Jacoby Brissett and Tua Tagovailoa some options. But once again, Jacoby Brissett, I mean, he was thrust into a situation where the offensive line was giving him any protection. He was trying to do the most out of what he could do. And at the end of the day, with the guys that are on the field for that Dolphins team, not a lot, especially with Brissett, making some poor decisions at times. But it was just a really tough day for this Dolphins offense, especially the offensive line. It's something that's going to really need to be cleared up. Defensively, I mean, at the end of the day, when your offense isn't scoring and you're always on the field, it's going to be a tough day no matter what. But some positive takeaways were the secondary. I thought the secondary played pretty well. Byron Jones and Xavien Howard, I thought, played well. And I thought a guy like, Javon Holland, and he had a fumble recovery, was pretty good too. Jerome Baker, I thought, had a good game too, was in around the football a lot. But that's pretty much the end of all the good players on the defense side of the football. Xavien Howard still had some mistakes too. He got mossed by Stefan Diggs at one point. Just a tough game for the defense in totality. Defensive line wise, I mean, there was no pass rush at all, and they could not stop the run, and that killed the Dolphins in that first half. Devin Singletary had a 46-yard touchdown. That should not be happening. That really should not be happening. The Bills' offensive line was able to manhandle this Dolphins defense, and it was just an ugly day. It was an ugly day all around, and really frustrating. Defensively, once again, I mean, I thought they were able to, they kept the Dolphins in the game at times, but overall, when your offense isn't putting up points, you're going to be always on the field, and nothing's going to be able to happen. Also, the fourth downs. I mean, the Dolphins were 0 for 3 on 3 really important fourth downs, all 4 and 2, and they were not able to convert. They had 4 turnovers in the first half, I think 3 turnovers in the first half, and 2 turnovers on downs. Those are just absolutely terrible stats. They had to be taking points, and they weren't able to take points, weren't able to support the defense. It was just a really rough day, and hopefully Tua is able to play next week, and he's able to get healthy, so that the Dolphins can have some consistency and some solid play at quarterback. And I thought Jacoby Brissett was fine. Just Tua would have been better. I still think this Bills team is way better than this Dolphins team right now. For the Bills, I mean, Stefan Diggs had a good game. He had a touchdown grab. Josh Allen looks like Josh Allen. I still think he's trying to get back into how he was last year. He isn't quite there yet. Obviously, last week against the Steelers was not the Josh Allen we were used to a year ago. At times today, he looked really good. At times, he did not quite look where he was. I think he's 2 or 3 weeks out from really being sharp again. But nonetheless, I mean, this Bills offense was good. Their offensive line manhandled that Dolphins defense. I thought that the Bills offense was also able to be really productive in the passing game. Also in the running game too, I thought Zach Moss played well. Touchdown, obviously had a fumble at one point, but they were able to pick up yards on the ground and via the air, mostly via the air. But it was a tight defensive battle for large parts of this game. It was just Josh Allen and Stefan Diggs are able to do a lot more. Defensively though, for the Bills, I thought the Bills' front four were really good. They got a lot of pressure on the quarterback. And I thought that the Bills' defensive scheme for this game was really smart too. They were able to dial up a lot of pressure from a lot of different places, and I thought that was a really good way, getting guys like Tre'Davius White, getting guys like Jordan Poyer, getting guys like Tremaine Edmunds or Matt Milano involved, who are not traditionally pass rushers. But obviously Gregory Rousseau had a nice game, and some of their other pass rushers up front had some solid outings on the day. And then Trey White had a fantastic game, matched up predominantly against Devante Parker. Devante Parker was able to get the best of him a few times, but overall, it was a really, really great game from Tre'Davious White. He was always in coverage, always locked on, and Levi Wallace also. I think he had to leave the game at one point due to some injury, but overall, I thought he played really well too. So that Bill secondary, this was some really good secondary battle for large parts of this game. At the end of the day, though, the Bills proved why they're the favorites in the AFC East, and they proved that they're still the top team in the division. The Dolphins are going to have to really get better. They're really going to have to fine tune everything, and I don't really know if they quite have the talent to keep up with this Bills team. They need to scheme better. They need to play offensively better, and especially it starts with the offensive line. Obviously, Tua going down did not help, but that offensive line was really, really bad. And AJ Epinesa having a massive hit on Tua Tagovailoa, that really took the life out of this Dolphins team. So with that said, I think this is a really tough loss for the Dolphins. They're going to go into next week needing some consistency at quarterback. I don't care who's going to be playing for quarterback for them. They're going to need a level head, and they're going to need to fire. Be able to make sure that they know what they're doing. For the Bills, this was a massive comeback win after a sad outing last week. We thought that they were going to be able to beat the Steelers. They weren't able to do so. But overall, I thought that, from the Bills' perspective, this is a great win, really good win coming to Miami, still proving that they're all about beating the Dolphins. And you got to remember, Brian Flores has not beaten the Buffalo Bills as the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. That has not happened yet. So with that said, this was just a really tough game from being a Dolphins fan, especially. Really tough to see, a team that I have a lot of hope for this season to go out there and really struggle to beat a Buffalo Bills team that's probably one of the top 5 best teams in the league. But with Josh Allen, with Stefan Diggs, they're always going to be hard to beat. And then defensively, when they've got some real leaders in Trey White, Tremaine Edmunds too, but they with an improved pass rush. I mean, this defense is scary too. Overall, this Bills team is so deep, but they're so consistent and they're so good all around and across the board that it makes it really hard, for the Dolphins to really continue to find success against them. And remember, the Dolphins went out last year losing to the Bills in Buffalo. So I think that there's something here between the Bills and the Dolphins where the Dolphins really need to find a way to beat the Bills, and it's going to need to happen sooner rather than later, because the Bills are going to be the best team in the AFC East for a little bit, and I think that's going to really be the case. And at the end of the day, if the Dolphins want to try and come anywhere near that, they're going to need to find a way. So Dolphins next week, they really need to bounce back. It was a really tough game. It was really hard to watch. But good win for the Bills, tough loss for the Dolphins. Hopefully the Fins can bounce back next week and try and get back to 2-1.
And with that said, that's pretty much going to end the video for today. Did you agree with my analysis? Why or why not? Leave your comments and thoughts in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Also, if you're new around here, please drop a like and a sub on today's video. I'd really appreciate that. And with that said, I hope you enjoyed the video. And until next time, see ya.